Okay, so if you have questions about rubber or TPO and which you should use for your commercial roof, this video is for you. EPDM, commonly known as rubber, has been around for a long time. TPO has been around for quite a while as well, but how do you know which one you should go with? The biggest consideration is probably regarding energy. So in the South, where you have a lot of cooling days, days where you need to use your cooling, generally, they want to use a reflective roof like the white TPO because that means we're absorbing less heat into the building and the air conditioning doesn't need to work as hard. However, if you're way up in the north, Canada, northern United States or something, where there's a lot of heating days, days where you're using more heating than cooling, then the black EPDM might be a better choice. Let's talk about longevity. Both systems, whether it's an EPDM or a TPO system, come with up to 30-year warranties. My opinion is that the EPDM takes a little more maintenance. Because of how it's installed, you have overlapping seams that depend on what's called seam tape. Also around penetrations like pipes or curbs or something like that, you hand flash it with a flexible flashing tape. But sometimes if it's not installed really well, the tape can start to bridge at corners, like outside 90-degree corners and so forth over time. And also those seams where the seam tape is, over time, again, they start to lift and peel a little bit and you can have issues. Well-installed EPDM systems should be able to go for, I'd say 10 years without a lot of maintenance. Once you're at the 15-year point, you probably need to do some recaulking and so forth. Now, a TPO system is installed not with tapes and adhesives, but with welding. So we use a heat welder, and because it's a plastic-based product, the seams overlap, and we have a robotic welder that literally heat welds the two pieces together. And as long as your welds are done properly, these things are not going to break down over time. That is, it's like it's one piece. It's like there's no seam there. That is the big advantage that TPO has over EPDM, is seams and penetrations and kind of how those things are treated. A TPO system is virtually maintenance-free for a long time. Another consideration for deciding which one to use is material flexibility. So the EPDM system is a lot easier to work with. We see it's a lot more flexible, it just kind of flops around in my hand, as opposed to TPO, which is a lot stiffer. I hold this and it really holds its forms. One thing with an EPDM system also, because it's black and absorbs a lot of heat, and just because of the nature of the rubber, it expands and contracts over time. Now, let's say there's a 20-year-old EPDM roof and it's up against a wall. What happens is if it's not correctly installed on this wall, we get what we call bridging, where over time the EPDM kind of pulls away like this. It's no longer seated down at the corner. I've seen this where the EPDM actually begins to pull the drip edge up like this over time. So you have a 30-year-old roof and the drip edge is sticking out like this because the EPDM is contracting over time and kind of pulling everything together. Whereas with a TPO, it has this what's called a scrim. It's got threads like embedded in it, and it's much more stable and stationary and doesn't have that contraction and expansion over time. It's going to pretty much stay that way in that form for its lifetime. In general, like I said before, TPO, you're probably going to have less maintenance over time. EPDM, there's probably going to be more maintenance required over that length of the warranty. So, all things considered, what's my personal preference for a commercial flat roof or a low slope roof? If at all possible, I would go TPO on my roof any day. EPDM is an older product. It's been around a lot longer. It's tried and true. It works well. But TPO is a newer one. It also has been tried and true. It's probably 30 years old at this point or more. So we've got a lot of years under our belt with TPO, seeing how it performs and so forth. It's just a simpler system to install. It's a simpler system to maintain. It's reflective. So, here in Pennsylvania, I've got we've got a hot summer, and this helps to keep the heat out of the building by reflecting a lot of the sun's rays back up instead of absorbing it like a black roof does. So all in all, I'd go TPO. Nothing against EPDM. It has its applications, it has its place, especially in smaller, like residential situations where we're just doing a small roof segment. EPDM is most times the way to go just because of how simple it is to install. But for a commercial building, I would go TPO. But there you have my opinion and kind of the lowdown of each system and the pros and cons. So hopefully that helps you make your choice. If you need more specific questions answered, I would be happy to help you do so. Shoot me an email, call in, and I'll help you as best I can. Thanks, and hope this is helpful.